shut up, you listen to my monkey mouth. There's a companion when you got pun on the canoa route. Hopped in a portal and got in a fight, Elias knocked him out. Bow, Naruto fighting style. Bow, UFC he tapped out. Bow, we win, we get crowned. Monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth.
Alright, everybody, welcome back to another edition of the Once Woke Up podcast. This is Joshua as always, and today I've got with me
Coach O, the one and only from Fact Fitness, Texas.
Dude, I am so happy I was able to get you on the podcast, man, because you've been such a positive influence in my life. And most of the people who I've had on to this point are like knuckle-dragging fucking comedians and shit, right? And like, they're not able to contribute as positively as I might like. So it's really funny, but like I think you're going to have some really positive stuff to say. I know that whenever I did some personal training, I lost like 25 pounds with you in like 6 weeks, and I got like very fit, and it's actually what got me oriented on my health. I mean, I haven't done as well as I would like, but like, dude, I'm definitely not 500 pounds anymore, you know what I'm saying? I'm definitely holding it down, and I think that I can really attribute that to like the work we put in with you. I had some really, really bad memories with working out and stuff, and you helped kind of turn that around and make it to where I was able to like build a little reward system around doing it and like have some positive memories with it. And like, this is one of the first times I've been able to really thank you for the work that you put in with me back then. I really appreciate it, like, to this day.
Man, well, listen, I appreciate you having me here. I'm excited for this podcast, and I wanted to take a time out to say, you know, I thank you as well, because I get personally vested in all of my clients, and it was a joy having you and training you and being able to help push you. And everybody is unique and different and takes a different touch. So, to say the least, man, I really enjoyed the time together. And to see you keep it up after was even more impressive.
Well, so I had gotten down to 265. I'm floating around 290 right now. So I've gotten up about 25 pounds. But it's like, it's literally sodium, fucking carbs, and sugar, bro. Like, it's literally it. Like, I swear to God, if I cut those three things out, I'd drop that 25 pounds in like 6 weeks. It's so ridiculous how much that influences the weight. Like, because the sodium makes you retain the water, and the sugar is just all around bad. But like, sweet tea and potato chips and salsa, bro, it's like my fucking downfall, bro. It really is.
We gotta get you some new go-tos.
Yeah, man, we really do. We really do. So I've done well with my sweet tea, actually. Now I do like almost no sugar in my sweet tea. Like, the other day I even like took a sip and I was like, fuck, this isn't sweet at all. Like, I might need to start putting some more sugar in this. And now I don't like munch potato chips all the time. Like, I don't get this like flavored potato chips. The only time I'll ever get them is if I get tortilla chips and I'm eating them with salsa. But then I'm like usually salting that shit up. So like it's still bad, man. It's still bad. But to say that I'm doing as bad today as I was whenever we first got introduced would be a fucking falsification. I'm definitely doing much, much better these days.
Yeah, no. I can see it and I can hear it in your voice too.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. So the workout that I've been doing recently, well, really, like I say recently, like for the last forever now, is the Saitama workout. Are you familiar with anime at all?
No.
So there's an anime called One Punch Man.
Okay.
And the main character's name is Saitama, and he's like just like Goku level strong. Like, literally finishes everybody with one fucking punch. Like, he's like bored with it type shit. And he takes on this like super powerful apprentice who's like, how do I get as strong as you? And he's like, all right, this is what you do: 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, 10-kilometer run every day. And like, it's not even that fucking hard, dude. Like, we're fucking superheroes, bro. Like, that's how I'm supposed to get as strong as you. But so I'm not quite able to do that. But I do 100 push-ups from my knees, 100 crunches, and 100 body squats every day. And I'm able to do that every day pretty effectively. And like, I can feel my form getting better. Like, I can feel like the right muscles developing to the point where I can actually like do the push-ups the right way, and like the squats the right way. Like it's neat doing them that long, like being able to like feel the difference in how like I was compensating in weird ways for like not having the right strength to do that stuff the right way.
Tell me about that run.
So what I do is I do an hour of cardio. I do an hour power walk.
Okay.
Yeah, and that like is a motherfucker. Like you think it's not much, but like it is. But so again, I'm not able to do that as often as I'd like because I've got my boy and I'm watching him solo style, right? And like he ain't trying to walk for an hour with me. Like he's like, bro, fuck this after a while. And I can't do it at night. He's sleeping, and I just can't leave him in the house alone. I just can't do it, right? And then, so 2 nights out of the week I have him, and then 2 nights out of the week I'm doing this podcast and stuff overnight. And so, like, really, it was like 3 nights out of the week where, like, I can go and do it overnight when I'm not, like, thoroughly occupied. The only other time that I can realistically get to doing it is if I, like, wake up at 5 in the morning and go get it done before I go pick up Theo in the morning. And, like, I have a crippling video game addiction to surf, my dude. Like, I fucking am playing Ghost of Tsushima right now, and I'm like, let's get this fucking podcast over so I can go fucking play some video games. So, but I do it 3 days a week every week, and they're usually like right in a row. Like I usually have to do them all in a row, which I wish I was able to break them up, but instead it's like one after another. And like by the 3rd day, I like have blisters on my feet. Like every time I'm like, fucking wow, this is rough. But I do it, and I've blown through like several pairs of shoes doing it. And
so how do you find time to set your fantasy football lineup?
Bro, like I can say this because I know that my fucking friends don't listen to my podcast. I don't give a fuck about football at all. I like watch mixed martial arts and anime. It's MMA and anime, straw hat and a fanny pack, dog. That's the lifestyle I lead. Fantasy football, I've been doing it for so long that like I can just pull up the numbers and like pull up like 10 articles and like have a pretty fucking good idea of what I need to do. Like, I probably made some mistakes here and there, but, like, you know, I feel pretty good about my team. And, yeah, so it's just real easy for me. And it's not something that I like invest a lot of time in. And the thing that I put more time into with fantasy football is talking shit with my friends. Like, we've been doing it together for, like, 12 years. And we have the most absolutely vicious fucking group chat going. Like, I swear to God, if there's ever anything that will prevent any of the guys in that group from getting to positions of actual prominence, it's the contents of that chat. Like, I swear to God, if I ever try to be president, like, some weeb is gonna go and nab those files, and they're gonna be like, look at the shit Josh said. And it's gonna be like, I said those things, and holy shit, wow, it looks really bad in quotations. Like, whoa, oh my God.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
So last year, so I understand you're not in fantasy football this year, but you get what's going on. Last year, the guys, because again I'm not super well prepared, right? The guys talked me into drafting J.K. Dobbins, my 4th round pick, and J.K. Dobbins had a fucking blown out knee, and he was listed as questionable in the app, and like the guys knew, like I was just going off what was in the app. So a normal human who doesn't invest fucking lifetimes of effort into this shit, I just like show up and I'm like, we're gonna do it. And I was so like God honestly mad. Like with my friends. Like the whole season was null and void at that point. My world, I was like, y'all sabotaged my draft again. They sabotaged my draft once before. But we won't go off into that. We're already digressing into fantasy football hard. But so I sold off my top round picks like pretty early on in the season. Like I was still able to stay competitive throughout the season. I finished like middle of the pack. But I got rid of Tyreek Hill for a 2nd round pick, and I got rid of Travis Kelce for a 3rd round pick. And so I came into this year's draft with 5 picks in the first 3 rounds. And I was in front of those picks as my Infinity Stones. Yeah, dude, I've got my Infinity Gauntlet assembled now, and I changed my team name to the Infinity Stoners.
So who you gotta tell me your roster now?
Oh, I'll pull it up. I'm proud of it, bro. I'm proud of it. I really am. Like, I'm projected the most points in my league right now. And here's the thing, is that I was able to reach for Hopkins from Arizona. He's suspended, but he's going to come back and fucking dunk on people, bro. And so my team was so stacked with my first 5 picks that I was able to reach for him before anybody else realistically could. Because everybody else was trying to like, get their starters. I had my whole starting lineup, and I was like, bro, I got all my starters. It's time to start drafting like backup receivers, and there's Hopkins. Oh, I already got the best team in the league, and I'm about to have that like extra Infinity Stone added into this. Like, wow. So yeah, I feel really, really confident about my team on the second half of the season for sure. Like it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be like Thanos snapping people away, bro. Like for real. Like I've already got memes like in the can, bro. Like
you're ready.
So I drafted a Lamar Jackson for my quarterback.
Okay.
Which some people are like, this is questionable. He's having like trouble with his team right now.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, the fact that he didn't get that deal signed, he's gonna be playing with. He's gonna be proving a point all season, bro. Like he's gonna be playing like he wants to go win a Super Bowl with a better team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's gonna ball for me. And then I've got Mike Evans as my number one. Like Tom Brady slinging that football. Come on, he's like, come on. Then I've got DJ Moore, which the receiver for the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
And some people are kind of hating on that pick, but here's the thing: their quarterback situation is god awful. This guy is a primetime possession receiver. Like he gonna run hitches and catch the football, no matter what, bro. And we just switched to PPR, so I think his like slightly higher volume than most other guys is going to really come in and play dividends. Like I've had him before, and he's like one of the most consistent receivers around. Really happy with that pick.
Okay.
Then I've got Dalvin Cook,
Mm-hmm.
big goon at running back. Then my second most suspect pick, because man, my league drafts running backs like crazy. So I took Aaron Jones.
What team is that?
That's the Packers.
Okay.
And he balls every year.
I know.
He balls every year, but there's like this new guy, and they're like, it might be by committee. Who knows? Because like the guy did well in preseason, but like, bro, it's the Aaron Jones show. He's such a good receiving running back. Like he's gonna, and again, it's PPR now. Like it's first year PPR for us, and so again, I'm gonna get extra points because he's catching the ball from Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
And so I feel very good about it. Like
Jones, Cook, Mike Evans, that's strong.
And then I've got Rashad Bateman as my flex. He's the clear-cut number one for Baltimore.
Okay.
Like, I've got the quarterback. I've got his number one option. Like, tomahawks and that. And I got him late in the draft. I was really, really pleased with that. And then I got Kittle at tight end. I wasn't very pumped on that. He's always injured. But so I went ahead and he's good. But
he's hurt a lot.
Exactly. Like, literally, like, right now, he's got a fucking hurt groin. And he hasn't even played a fucking game yet, bro. So, like, what am I going to... So I picked up Brake off the... Cameron Brake, the Tampa Bay tight end.
Okay.
I figured he might get some extra volume with Gronkowski out of the mix now. Like, Tom Brady likes those tight ends. He's, like the guy there at tight end now. So, like, probably going to get the same, like, amount of looks as, like, any other tight end except Tom Brady's throwing him the ball. So, like, yeah, let's do that. Let's go for that guy. I like to bet on good quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? Like, who doesn't want the guy having Tom Brady throwing the ball? You know? And then I've got, like, Melvin Gordon the third as my backup running back.
Where's he at now?
Denver.
Okay.
Which he's splitting time. It's like, I'm not very deep at running back. I got Hopkins, who's going to come in the second half of the season and just rake people over the coals. I got AJ Green as like the guy who's going to be the primary beneficiary of Hopkins being gone in the first half of the season. So like I was hoping that maybe he'd do something for me.
I forgot he was in Arizona.
Yeah. Yeah, I got Paris Campbell, who's like the number 2 guy, looking like he's going to be the number 2 guy for the Colts, which we've got like a good receiver in front of him on like a run-heavy offense. So like, meh. I got a DJ Chark Jr., who's now with Detroit, who I'm hoping is going to do better now that he's not in Jacksonville. He was literally listed as like the player most likely to have a bust-out year on my entire draft, which was cool. And then I got Chase Claypool, which, man, the Steelers aren't looking great. I might not be too happy with that pick at all at this point. But, and then I've got the Indianapolis Colts defense and Bass, the kicker for Buffalo. But, I mean, I typically go through and, like, look at who the team that, like, is either who's the team that's putting up the fewest amount of points or who's the team that's turning over the ball the most. And if I can get the defense that week that's playing against either of those teams, I'm like a real happy camper. Because that's how I usually play. I just get a defense because like you have to draft one by the end of the draft. But yeah, I'll be like playing it clever with my defense all throughout the season. I'm real big on like outscoring. If I can get 3 sneaky points out of my kicker that no one's expecting, like by having like I'll reach for a good kicker whenever people are still like getting backups. And then I'll reach for a good defense and play it off the waiver wire the rest of the season. And like I feel like, man, those like 10 points you can get out of those 2 positions is like the difference in like winning and losing sometimes. So
no, that's a good roster, especially a receiver. You got a nice receiver core.
Yeah, I'm really pumped on our receiving core. My running back situation is a little suspect with me not having much depth there, and with Aaron Jones potentially splitting time. I'm not too pleased with those two picks, but I'm very happy with Dalvin Cook, very happy with Lamar Jackson, very happy with my receiving core.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and obviously my defense is going to do well all season because of how I play it.
Did you have a chance to draft Debo Samuels on San Fran?
I can't remember, to be honest. I think that so I know that he went high because he has that flex capability where he can play running back and all these other positions and get weird touches, and he was very much on the radar of everybody on my league, everybody, because someone had him last year and he balled out for 18 points a game all season. We were all what's happening here? And took a harder look, and a whole bunch of shit talk happened in the shit talk board about it. So he was firmly on everybody's radar. So I probably did not have the opportunity to draft him where I wanted. He's definitely someone who would have gotten reached for in my league.
All right, last question. Who was your first pick?
Oh, my first pick was Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook. Okay.
Yeah, because again, running backs are going quick, bro. I had the 6th pick, and Dalvin Cook was best available running back. There was,
dang.
Yeah. I mean, and the next round came around, my Packers running back was the best available. Both my first 2 picks were best available running back. Yeah, and
the running backs went quick.
Yeah, well, there's just not enough depth there. There's 12 good dudes, maybe tops, and then it's just a really steep drop off. So everybody's we need those guys because there's so much depth at receiver. There's guys who can pop every week, and so it's typically a race to get the good running backs and the good tight ends in my league because there's such a steep fall off after the top few one of those guys. Yeah, that's how I didn't get a good tight end. That's why I got stuck with Kittle because people realized what I was doing. They're oh, we got to get out in front of this and get people who are going to be the best at position. Everybody wants to have the best at position, and so I'm mad at it. Pretty mad about my Kittle pick. Man, he was by a pretty wide margin best available at the time though. So it was I guess we're gonna do this, and before the season even started, he's got a fucking hurt groin. So that's life.
Yeah.
But so you're rocking your Fact Fitness hat. So you own and operate Fact Fitness out of Georgetown?
That's correct.
So how long? So you used to have a smaller spot, right? And then you went over to the spot that I started. And I was I literally the first person you were personal training over there?
Pretty much. You were one of the first ones
Yeah.
when I moved from the smaller location into the bigger location. Yep.
So what would be if you were to just sit back and think on it? What would be your guiding principles that have led you to because obviously you're very fit, you have a successful gym, you got a big nice truck, everything's you've got it going. What would you say the guiding principles that have got you there are?
So I say there's a few. One thing I like to say is keep the main thing the main thing. So for me, to run a successful business, I have to get results from my clients, right? So setting up the system and setting up the business and what we do and how we deploy the various skill sets that we have is with the goal in mind of getting results for the client. So that would be number one.
It's just actually delivering on the promises, right?
Exactly.
We're going to get you results. And so the number one thing in your mind is if you're going to make that promise, you have to focus on delivering on that.
Yeah.
Dope.
So that'd be number one. Number two would be discipline and consistency. Making the stuff that you necessarily don't like to do, making yourself like it, find a way to like it, and to do it anyway. And being consistent.
Yeah, I'm certain paperwork, weird stuff, licenses, all the little stuff that no one ever thinks about and that drags you down. You lose an entire day to go into the courthouse and fill out a piece of paper. No one ever wants to do it, but that's what legitimizes you.
Yeah, and then number three is consistency. Stay consistent. Consistency will outlast and win over lack of motivation. So, people as humans, we jump in and out of being motivated with stuff, but if we can't stay consistent, that consistency helps also bring back that motivation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's almost like a fake it till you make it situation, man. Like if you do it, I read a thing that said if you do something long enough, your brain will like find a way to develop a reward system around it, no matter what it is. Is you could be fucking pushing a hoop down the road with a stick. If you did that long enough, you'd find a way to be like, oh, I kind of am like looking forward to that, right? And that's what happens with working out. I know that like for me, what's really turned the corner for me in like the recent months has been that I get to where I enjoy the feeling of accomplishment after doing it, and I enjoy like the next day, like I do my hour power walk, and like after 3 days, I can feel my pants fit looser. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like ooh, I like that. You know what I'm saying? And so I found like my little things. Like it's still hard, man. Like I still have some motivation issues, right? And like some competing things that I'm working with for my time. But at the end of the day, like it's gotten to the point where like doing my push-ups and sit-ups and stuff every day, like I look forward to it, and I not only do I look forward to getting to do my hour power walk, but I like feel bad about not doing it on other days. Like I want to do it tonight, but I'm going to be up here editing and doing my stuff, so I'm not going to have that opportunity, right? And like, so yeah, I always say that consistency over time. Like that's the big one, is consistency over time.
Yeah, and you're somebody that's very self-aware. Like you alluded to something that I use to try to figure out what's the best way to communicate and relate to clients, which is what is going to get that particular client that dopamine hit, right? What do they enjoy? What do they get out of it? When do they feel the sense of reward? Like when they feel like, oh man, I did something positive towards my goal today, right? And being able to figure out what that is and being able to touch on that and tap into that and help them along their journey, because that's not always going to be there. They're going to have bad days and stuff was going to happen.
Days where you're fucking thrown up in the bathroom going, I fucking hate this. I'm never coming back. This asshole ran me till I threw up again.
Yep, but it's that, but still finding a way to make that connection where even though you have that thought, the relationship and the rapport is strong enough where you're not actually like, I'm never coming back here again.
Yeah. You're just like hating the torture in the moment, but like at the end of the day, like the positive that you did for me way outweighed any negatives of like being butthurt about how hard I was working. And so I guess like the two main ways that you would discover that are just by like asking the right questions and by like objectively observing, right? Like you see them light up, you gotta be like, that's the moment, we gotta figure out how to capture that lightning in a bottle. Yeah. So the fact that you're like that aware of it, like makes a lot of sense why you were able to do like what I described at the beginning of the podcast for me, right? Like you're obviously like very aware of how to watch and listen and ask the right questions to get to where you're creating a positive environment around doing this thing that most people typically aren't doing, because it's easier and more rewarding in the short term to be sedentary. Yeah. And so you're finding a way to like get past that, man. That's really dope. Like it helped me. Like, and the God's honest truth is that it helped me. And like I was pretty damn out of shape. You know? I was pretty damn out of shape, man. And you were able to be patient with me. And I just, again, like I don't want to sit here and fanboy and fawn too much. Like I really, really appreciate the work you've been doing with me.
And that's the key. You know, like we're in the personal training business, if you will. But myself and all my staff, I have set up as coaches. Because to me, there's a very distinct difference between a trainer and a coach, and there's so much more that comes with coaching, and there's so much more involvement, attention, and all of those things. But there's naturally a more connective relationship there as well.
Yeah, coaches are building people, right? Trainers are just like, these are the functions you do at X times, and like this is the path, right? And like they're just kind of there to illuminate the path. Whereas coaches, I think, typically take on a more active role in like caring for someone personally, right? Like, dude, I want to see you succeed personally, and like we're gonna put in that work to make sure that we get there together.
Absolutely.
And that was absolutely the vibe that I got the whole time I was there. I mean, I again would love to. I mean, I still have membership. I love the sport, but I'm just doing it at home now. You know what I'm saying? I've gotten to where I figured out my little routine where I'm able to do it at home, and like your gym, like ultimately, like really served its purpose for me. So, Coach O's keys to success are: number one, follow through on your promises and deliver. Number two is be disciplined. Number three is be consistent. That's a solid list, man.
There you go.
I mean, I really do believe that, like, if anybody hears that and follows through on that, they're gonna like get there. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely, and I think you can apply that to pretty much anything. That's a lot of the message that I give to my aspiring athletes who want to play in college or play at the next level. I mean, those are key principles and you know, their growth and being able to develop and continue on.
So, to like toot your own horn a little bit, like how many kids in locally have you been able to like get placed in colleges and stuff? And like, you know, like how good is that? I mean, I go there and I see your wall of people who have like gone and gotten scholarships and gotten onto these programs and like gotten where they wanted to go, and that's so dope. Like how many do you think you've gotten there?
So I'm easily over 100 Division I athletes right now.
That's amazing, dude. That's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is amazing.
So I've been fortunate, like that a lot of talented kids and hardworking kids who were dedicated to their craft have been able to come through our doors, and we just play a small part in their journey and help them get to the next level.
That's awesome, man. So, like, are there any, like, particular stories with these kids? You don't have to say any names, obviously. Is there any stuff, what's the most inspiring thing that you've seen out of any of these kids in the last, like, since you've been at the new spot?
There's a lot. So, I had a guy, I'll show one story, and he was a tremendous athlete. I think the kid could have played multiple sports. And for whatever reason, he wasn't getting the looks and the calls that he thought he would get, that he was supposed to be getting. He was going into his senior year, and obviously he's getting nervous. He's seeing his teammates and people around him and his travel club team getting offers and signing and getting scholarships. And he's like, what am I doing wrong? I know I'm this and that. His grades were good. And it was the mental part of, hey, stick to it. Don't worry about anything external. You focus on you. You do what you do. Every day you come, you show up, and when you have an opportunity to get in front of, you know, coaches, you show out and show them what you got.
Believe in the process.
Yeah.
Man. Stay consistent. Stay disciplined.
Lo and behold, a month before his season started, he got a full ride offer that he wanted to get, and his mom in particular came to me and was in tears and was thanking me for not only the work that I did with him physically, but being able to keep his head in the game mentally and
keep just him not failing on himself, him believing in himself.
Absolutely, because what I didn't know specifically was, I guess there was multiple times that he contemplating quitting and giving up the sport and not following through with his dream because he wasn't getting what he thought he should have got out of it.
It was disheartening, right?
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, he was doing something he loved, and then him not measuring up to his own measure. Like he thought he should be getting these things, and so it's really, really disappointing whenever people don't live up to their own measure of success.
Yeah.
He was living up to his own measure of success, and it took this thing that he loved and turned it into like this thing that he really wasn't enjoying anymore because he wasn't being able to do as well with it as he thought that he should be doing. Right, and you were able to be there and be that rock for him, be like, no, my dude, like, you keep working hard, you stay consistent, you stay disciplined, you follow through on the plan, and it's gonna work out. And it worked out, man.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's like all the feels that I wanted, man.
Right,
It really is. Like, that's great.
It's crazy, like us as an adult, and magnify it times 10 for a teenage athlete is somebody telling you, hey, I believe in you, before there's reason to believe, before you obtain all the stuff that you think you feel like, or other people think you feel like you're supposed to, and you have somebody consistently in your corner that's not your parent, that's saying, stick to it, dude.
Yeah, someone who you know isn't supposed to be doing it unconditionally.
Yes.
Right, like someone who you believe would give you that reality check and be like, hey, bro, like, this might not be for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, he trusts that he trusts that if you saw that it wasn't for him, you'd have told him it wasn't for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have that level of trust where there's the complete, and it isn't unconditional, right? Like, you're there to be real with them and to, like, be an outside force to, like, to push them in a positive direction. And so That's like a really, really dope story, bro. Like,
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing that.
For
That's
sure.
really cool. So, for me, I like to do a lot of meditation.
Mm-hmm.
I think that mindfulness is really, really important. And what are you guys doing anything like that in like yoga or anything like that in that general direction to like promote mindfulness outside of that?
So we had a yoga program, but something that I incorporate in all of our training sessions is what I call mental coaching. So it's not directly meditation. However, what we really focus on is mentality, approach to the game, confidence, belief in self, discipline. Those are kind of the key factors that psychologically get you prepared to go out and perform, to stay unaffected by, everything going on around you, whether it's social media, whether it's coaching, whether it's naysayer, whether it's, opponents talking shit, or, whatever that's out there that can be a distraction or cause you to lose focus or lose confidence. And being really able to hone in on what you want to accomplish and what you want to do for yourself. So that's a big part of what we incorporated into the training, both verbally and physically. And I want to talk about the physical aspect because a light bulb for a person kicks on when you are presented with a challenge, and in the beginning you have this sense of hesitation, like I can't do it, and you're not allowed to quit until you're able to accomplish it. And then when you go from I can't do it to realizing I can do it, that switch kind of kicks on, like, all right, maybe I can do this, maybe I do have this. And is so much more there by being able to physically experience and internalize that versus somebody telling you something.
Yeah, well, so the understanding can be nonverbal, right? Like I sincerely feel like words, like the chit chat that we hear in our brain, is like our higher self trying to rationalize what's happening to like the ego part of our brain that like controls the mechanism, right? Like at the end of the day, I don't need to look at you and go, that's Coach O in the back of my mind to know who you are. Like I see you and I just know. You know what I'm saying? And whenever you can create a truth that just like impacts suddenly, like a joke, like someone tells you a joke and it's like ha ha, oh, there's like a spontaneousness to it, right? And there's something about that like spontaneous occurrence that really matters, right? And like it's more difficult to create that spontaneous occurrence with words, or rather, it's easier to create the spontaneous occurrence with words, but it's less impactful, right? Doing it whenever like they're able to like get that feeling of accomplishment on their own, they know what that feels like, and that's something that like doesn't need to be spoken. Like they know, like we're here, they're there,
Right, and like you kind of borderline touched on another connection that's so important as being an athlete. A lot of all sports are mental, but obviously it's just played out physically. So that physical connection to that connection in training, when you experience that really is more what I want to say. It holds a lot more weight psychologically when you can feel it.
Absolutely, yeah. When it isn't just a concept, whenever it's a feeling, whenever you feel that shit, it isn't just like an abstraction. It isn't just a thought that you think about. It isn't like someone who's never felt pride thinking about the concept of pride. It's someone who's proud.
Yes.
It's a different feeling. And one of the things that I really like, what you're always talking about, is like the consistency over time and like discipline. Aristotle used to say that your habits will carry you through anything. You know what I'm saying? If you have a good set of habits, you'll follow through and like get through any difficult circumstance that the world throws at you, and you don't have to think about it at that point because you're just doing what you do. You've built a series of operations that you do that'll carry you through any circumstance, and you don't even have to like worry about the things that are coming at you anymore because you've built this like order of operations for yourself that if you just follow that through, you're going to get through it in like a really positive manner. And that's what I think you're helping these young people get is a consistent. And as a consistent framework for how to operate physically and a consistent framework for how to operate mentally in a positive way that's going to get them oriented in a positive direction no matter what they're confronted with moving forward.
No, I believe that as well. You know, your habits dictate who you become and who you are. You know, because that's what you do on a consistent basis. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and you know, they say that like thoughts influence actions, actions influence habits, but you can create a habit that'll influence your actions, that'll influence your thoughts. Like it goes both ways.
Yep.
So if you want to get where you're going, you can cheat. You can start with where you want to go and be like, oh, this feels good over time. You were talking earlier about the creating the reward mechanism and like whenever they get that feeling of accomplishment. So like I had gotten pretty out of shape. Like whenever I kind of fell off for a part. Like, you know, I went through stuff personally, kind of got down. Like I was living in my warehouse and my warehouse got destroyed. Like went through some hard times, you know, and whenever I was the most out of shape, like I told you, I'm doing 100 push-ups, sit-ups, and squats a day, and doing an hour power walk. Whenever I first started that, it was 10, 10, 10, and 10. It was 10 push-ups a day, 10 sit-ups a day, 10 squats a day, 10-minute power walk. And then I did that for a few days, and then I went to 11 push-ups, sit-ups, and squats, and an 11-minute power walk. And got all the way up to where I'm at now. You know what I'm saying? And just incrementally improved every time I did it, and I knew, like, every time, like, it got to the point where, like, I know I can do 56 push-ups, because I did 55 yesterday. Even if I just do 55, take a 3-minute break, and then do one more, I can do it. Like, I can absolutely do that. And so there's something to, like, having a long-term plan where you're incrementally going to be increasing, like, the difficulty, and working in that reward mechanism concept, right? Because, like, that's what did it for me. Is like, I feel good for doing it, I'm happy I did it, and I know for a fact that I can do the thing tomorrow, even though it's going to be more than what I did yesterday. Like the book Holes. You ever read the book Holes? Oh my God. There's such everybody around here has read Holes. And it's a book about this kid who, like, goes to, like, what's supposed to be a summer camp, but it really turns out to be like a prison camp. They have him digging holes all day, every day, looking for this buried treasure. And this, like, all is set up by some stuff that happened way in the past. And basically, this man struck a deal with, like, a local witch so that he could, like, charm the, like, most influential woman around, right? Like, the deal is that you have to take this pig every day and walk it up the mountain and let it drink water from this particular stream. And every day he did that. And by the end of it, he was lugging around a 300-pound hog up and down the mountain. He was, like, super fit and super, like, physically able, so that he was, like, physically attractive, and he had the biggest hog, and that was, like, the way that he was going to win over the dad. But at the end, he, like, skipped the last day because something came up, and, like, the hogs were the exact same size, and he lost the girl, and, like, all this shit happened. But, like, the point is that in that book, the guy got to where he was, like, worthy by just carrying the same pig up the same route every day as it grew, and got stronger by the virtue of just, like, doing more, but was doing the same every day. And it was just a slightly heavier weight that he was carrying every day. And so, like, this process that we're talking about has been, like, identified in, like, works of fiction and nonfiction, like, across the board. Like, there's something to it, right? Like, all these things that we're talking about, whether it be the orientation that they talked about in Holes, or whether me doing my push-ups and sit-ups, or you doing what you're doing with your students, it's all, like, oriented at this same nugget of truth on the back end. Like, whatever it is, I don't think that we can really actually get there with monkey words, right? Like, I think that we're always going to be, like, just falling short of it, but, like, I can see clearly that, like, both you, I, and that book are all oriented at this same, like, nugget of truth off in the distance.
No, I agree. I have to get that book a check. I have to give it a read.
Oh, well, I mean, it's old. It's old. Like, it's. I wouldn't read it. I wouldn't read it. I wouldn't read it as an adult, man. They made us do it in high school, and, like, I fucking resented it then. Like, I'm not a big reader though. The last thing that I read that I actually appreciated was a book called The Shobo Genzo, and the Shobo Genzo is like Hinduism and Buddhism and those other, like, Eastern cultures don't really have, like, Bibles. They just have, like, compilations of texts from, like, the foremost thinkers in the schools of philosophy at the time, type shit. And the Zen equivalent of this compilation of papers is the Shobogenzo. And yeah, I really jived with that book hard. Like the first couple paragraphs, I was like, these guys have seen the thing for sure. They were talking about, the thing that really struck me is that awakened Buddhas can recognize other awakened Buddhas by the other awakened Buddhas being able to get into the flow state conversationally. Like whenever they're completely out of their own way, like they're just letting the truth that is on the back end just flow through them freely. That's how you can tell someone's like been there and seen the thing, right? Because they're not having to think about it, they're not lying, they're not processing anything, they're just letting it flow. And that's how I like to think I am. But also, you know, I'm having to do a podcast, so you gotta like think about some stuff over here and there. But like this podcast in particular can get pretty crazy. We're keeping it kind of mild because you like coach kids, and like I'm trying not to get Coach O canceled. My God, this is the first recording I've ever done where I was like having to be considerate of potentially worrying about getting somebody canceled. I'm like, man, I love Coach O. I don't need like his next D1 athlete to walk out because Pun's talking to God on DMT. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's keep it a little mild so the high school kids can listen and not be completely ran off. Can you imagine if like some Georgetown Karen, like with the like traditional, like I want to talk to your manager haircut, heard me talking about taking 10 tabs of LSD at the park via a savage. Yeah, we gotta keep it. I've alluded to it enough. I'm already skirting the line. We're gonna get Coach O in trouble on here. I'm gonna take a drink of my drink. Reorient. Let's reorient. So, what do you have going on? Like, what's coming up on the horizon that you're looking forward to the most?
So, we did some little bit of renovations since you've been there the last time.
I saw y'all were doing renovations when I was there, and y'all it was coming along. So
I have a indoor uphill ramp inside, so we can run hill sprints now.
That is dope.
Yep, I have a Proteus machine, which is like this 3-dimensional arm that gives accurate opposite resistance no matter which direction you move it. It's kind of like you can equate it to working out underwater. So we can use it for rehab. We can use it. I use it a lot for rotational athletes like baseball players, softball
So
players.
they can sit there and do that, and it's going to give them just enough resistance for them to like build up that muscle.
Yeah, and we can change the resistance. We can do workouts. But the biggest thing I get out of that is the power test and power analysis. Kind of see where they're at, and I'm able to measure them, you know, months down the line and see their progression tangibly.
And you also get to measure dicks with your coworkers. You're like, bro,
who put the board
so much stronger than you, bro.
Oh yes, we do that. We did.
Of course, it's the first thing. The day I got that set up, it's like, all right, we're measuring dicks. Let's see who can throw the bigger right hand. Let's go.
So we got that coming, equipment wise, and then I'm really looking to branch out and network and get with more groups and teams and be able to work with a lot of athletes at the same time as we grow.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I noticed that, like, even as I was leaving, you know, we're definitely moving more in the direction of doing a bunch of group stuff, which is good. I mean, you guys, like, are popping so hard. You know what I'm saying? I have so many people coming and going that, like, it makes sense to, like, just be like, hey, let's all gang up and do this together. You know what I'm saying? And also, I think there's something beneficial to doing it in a group, right? Like low key, like the members of the group kind of need to hold each other accountable, and develop some like good bonds, like
And compete.
Yeah, and compete too. So like if you have like a buddy there who's holding you accountable and you're competing with, like that's like the tip of the spear there.
Yeah. So we have that going on. So yeah, it's exciting, and I also brought in a physical therapist. So now we have our physical therapist in house pretty much full time. So
That's dope.
that's making a huge impact as well.
So one thing that I've seen recently is like, you know, I watch a lot of mixed martial arts, and which we're going to talk about some of that. But I've seen where now, like, you know, you get your ACL repaired, and like that day they've got you on a bicycle with no resistance. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's like, is that like how is the rehabbing game changed recently?
Rehab has evolved tremendously.
It seems like it's really rapidly changing now.
Yeah, and like a lot of the concepts behind like recovery and what you do for your rehab has changed, and it's a lot more progressive. The surgeries in and of itself, being both invasive and non-invasive with the laser technology, have came so far that it's shortened the recovery time and the time that an athlete can get back to at least some physical activity and reworking the joint or the injured area, whatever it may be. And that's why I think what our concept is, and having it all under one roof, it is largely beneficial to the athlete, because now you have cross communication between the physical therapist, the personal trainer, the chiropractor, the massage therapist, all working together to help the athlete progress and recover from injury, and there's synergy there. And mentally too, it makes it a more comfortable situation for the client as well. So that's something that I'm very proud of, and that we do that.
That's really cool. Well, I know it's gotta be nice if you can go and get all that help from all those people all in one place, not having to run around the city, and also them being on like a clear, coherent plan together. Because I don't know how many times I've heard of people trying to rehab and do these different types of things, and like these things don't necessarily align, right? Like you're doing something for one professional that's actually working against what the other professional wants you to do, because they have different schools of thought.
Yep.
And like at the end of the day, it's nice to have like a clear, coherent plan amongst the entire group of professionals that you have working to help get you where you're going. So that's really, really cool. You guys are doing that.
Yeah. So that's all the exciting stuff that's kind of on the horizon. In fact.
Well, what's happening personally, man? What do you have going on personally that you're excited about coming up, man?
Man, so let me see.
Any fun trips? I've seen you on social media, like living that balling life. I see like with like guys that are significantly taller than you, and I'm like, holy shit, how fucking tall are those people? Like, because you're tall, like guys. Anybody who watches this podcast regularly, typically I am like, we're eye to eye with people because I'm in that chair. That chair sits way lower than this one. And like, so Coach O's like, how tall are you?
About 6'1", 6'1.5".
Mother, dude, you are not 6'1".
Yeah.
You are full of dog shit.
I'm more wide than I am tall.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, this man is taller than 6'1". He's being modest. You're only 6'1" whenever they put the tape on the wall wrong, bro. I don't believe it. Either way, so you're out hanging out with like basketball players and all kinds of dope ass people.
The rundown. So a lot of my high school friends, obviously, I played basketball throughout the years and are much taller than me. So when I go to visit them, my friends are 6'9", 6'7", 6'7", 6'5". And
those humans are humongous.
Yeah, some of my athletes that I train, and I go hang out with them, or some of the coaches and players, ex-players that I know, I hang out with them, and they're huge. But personally for me, so we've had our new house built about 6 or 7 months ago. So
wow, congratulations, man!
You.
Congratulations.
So that's been nice.
Have you settled in? Does it feel like it feels like home?
Yeah,
Good.
It's starting to now. We had a lot of projects and getting stuff done, so now it's really starting to feel like home. So that is probably the biggest change, and then just watching all my daughters grow up and hanging around them has been fun.
Dude, I feel that, man. I'm a family man. Like, I am family first. And like I was telling you earlier, I won't send my son to daycare because I'm here. Like, why would I do that whenever I get to spend time with him? And like, I'm so like, I want to spend every second with my boy now because I know that eventually he's going to come of age and the state's going to be like, all right, he needs to go to school, and I'm not going to have him no more. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be like in the evenings and like whenever. And so like, I just have pretty much put most of everything aside so that I can spend this time with my boy right now. And I know it's incredible watching him grow up, bro. Theo. You know, watch out for Theo. Theo's gonna be an all-state athlete. Like, he's such a goon. I love that boy so much. It's so insane. And He's like in the like 90th percentile of size in every direction, but like his BMI, he's in like the 44th percentile. Like he's like not chubby at all. Like he's just like big and stout and like already has like the V going on. Like he's a goon. Like I'm telling you right now, I want to get him in wrestling, but I don't know when the appropriate age to do it is. Like I think that like probably like 9 to 11 is probably the right age. I don't want to get him on it too early where whenever his brain really starts popping and he really starts wanting to do cool stuff, he's going to be like, well, I've been doing wrestling and I want to leave that now. Like, man, like I want to catch him right at that moment whenever he's like, oh, I want to do something. I put him in it because ultimately I want wrestling to be the diversion from football.
So I would say first grade. So
you think first grade?
6, 7-ish, somewhere in there. Get him introduced to it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll think on that.
Because I'm telling you, everything has progressed so much now. 9, 10, they're already in club wrestling. Like the serious wrestlers are already in club wrestling. They've been wrestling since they were tykes. And
yeah. Well, so I'm not worried about like turning him into a world champion. I just want him to be able to go and like do something physical and like be a young man, like compete physically, try and dominate, get dominated, like do the thing. But I'm telling you right now, my ass has CTE. Like, bruh. The other day, I tried to walk into the kitchen and grab my phone like 6 times. Like, it was shameful. I was so ashamed. I was like, wow, I'm so upset that my brain doesn't work right now.
I have a funny wrestling story. I don't know how many times I've told this, probably not very often at all. So, in high school, obviously, I played basketball and football. Those were my main sports, and I was pretty good. So, freshman year, I said, I'm going to try out for wrestling. Right? Never wrestled before, ever. Never put on a uniform.
Your ass got dropped on your head.
No. So I put on the wrestling tights. Alright, let me see what you can do. They put me in the thing with this kid. I don't even remember who the kid was, but he gave me a wedgie. So hard, I was done. I didn't come back to wrestling practice the second day. I was like, that was uncomfortable. I'm not doing that again.
Bro,
I felt I was done. That was the start and end of my wrestling career that one day.
Bro, let me find out if me and you ever get into a scrap. I'm giving you an atomic wedgie, bro. I'm like, Coach O's big, humongous son of a bitch gonna beat my ass. I got a wedgie, boy. Get him out of here. Walk you right out to the truck with a wedgie, boy.
I didn't even think that was legal.
I don't know if it's necessarily legal. I just think that they like were letting you fucking get dog off at practice because they're assholes. Our coaches used to, the way we would sell beef is they had a towel and it wrapped in tape, and they'd have the entire football team circle up around a wrestling mat. They'd put those people with beef, fight over the bone. Whoever gets the bone wins. Shut up, don't hear about it no more. Bro, well, some hellacious fights over that goddamn bone. One time, me and this, sometimes they would do it as an activity for like they would make like random people do it so that like they could slip into like real beefs. And like it was like we weren't like intentionally making those two fight it out. We were just like picking randoms. Like plays real stupid with it as the coaches. And they were just letting people hash out their beef, bro. And one day we didn't have any beef, but me and this other big old humongoloid, Aaron Gonzalez, humongous. He's one of the rare Mexicans that's just like, what happened to you? Like, y'all supposed to be tiny, and you're like 6 of y'all. Like, did you eat your triplets in the womb? Like, what the fuck happened to you? But, so he's one of those, you know the ones. So big old beanhead, big old hands, like just corn-fed Mexican cats. And, bro, we fought over that bone for like 10 minutes, and we ripped it in half. And they're like, all right, it's draw. Next. But yeah, we ripped the bone in half. That was a pretty like,
that's crazy.
Like 2 guys that didn't have any beef had to go in there and fight it out for no reason, so that they could let the next guys who had beef fight. We went on ripping the bone in half. They had to go make a new one for the next fight real quick.
Oh man,
some crazy stuff happened in football, man. Football's like those locker rooms, bro. Locker room talk. I get in trouble to this day for locker room talk. Like the line between like healthy banter and shit talk and like camaraderie and like actual heinousness is so blurred for me. I hurt feelings every day. I'm like, come on, man, that was nothing. Bro, it comes time to talk shit to people and like, bro, 100 things line up in my mind. Now I feel like if I'm ever having trouble, like if you see me like not talking, it's because I'm like filtering through a million fucking things, bro. Especially if we're just talking shit to one another. Oh god damn, this fucking thing. My dad was a foreman in like a union and like was a construction worker, and all they did was talk shit. I'm convinced they didn't even work. They'd come home and just talk shit to me and my brother. It's me and my brother that was sharpest tongues in the whole school. I got voted most wittiest my senior year in the whole school. My brother got voted most wittiest in the whole school his senior year. 1 year after another. And so like my dad's a menace. And I don't remember where I was going with this. Just talking shit. And so, yeah, people being soft, man. I like, bro, like, that was like item 16 in my list. Like, I was like, that's too mean, that's too mean, that's too mean, that's too mean. All right, this one. Let's try this one. You're like, yes, hurts my feelings. I'm like, bro, fuck that. I'm in a Monkey Mouth podcast studio, so I can talk all the shit and I can never get canceled. Whatever, bro. It's like I'm too rough around the edges for like my social circle, bro. Like we're country boys, so like I know that like twinks in California are gonna hear this and just be like, wah, screeches and purple hair.
So what brought you to do the Monkey Mouse podcast? Like, what was the inspiration for you to kind of start?
Man, to be really honest, I started my first podcast, which was the Konoha Companion, which is Konoha is the land of fire in the Naruto anime. Naruto is one of the most popular animes on the planet, and I decided to do that one because I was going to do an episode by episode review of every episode of Naruto, and there's like 1,000 episodes. So I just had like infinite content. I could make Konoha Companions for the next 20 years. Okay, so like it was just something I could do where I could like sharpen my sword and get better. And frankly, I started doing it because I had a buddy who'd been talking for forever about doing podcasting, and he was basically saying that he needed someone to jump into it with him so that he could have someone to maintain accountability with and someone who he could like learn with and share experiences with and like build a network together with and like all this, etc., etc. So I was like, sure, we'll do it. Fine, let's give it a shot. And he literally produced one podcast and fell off the map. And I was just like, well, I do what I say I'm going to do. And like told myself that I was going to do an episode by episode review of Naruto and to completion, and I'm doing that. And then like a couple weeks after that, my buddy Elias, who's the co-founder of Monkey Mouth Podcast, who typically sits over there, hit me up and was like, hey man, do you want to do a podcast about cartoons or anime? And I was like, wow, fucking so synergetic. Like, yeah, I'm actively doing that right now. Sure, I'd love to have what the other person was supposed to be to me. I'd love to like have someone like bounce ideas off of and like we learn and grow together. It was cool. Sounds great. And so we did it, and it was like god awful. Like we're doing it off our cell phones, and like it's just bad. In every way you can imagine, it's bad, bro. Like we were trying to like cram like our thoughts about like 3 different cartoons into single episodes of this podcast. We were going to talk about like one show called Close Enough, one show called Invincible, and one show Rick and Morty. Are you familiar with any of them? So Invincible is just like a really like hellaciously bloody and like brutal like superhero comic book that's been turned into a TV show. It's really great. Highly recommend it. Close Enough is like just a Cartoon Network spinoff that's produced by HBO, and it's like the guys from Regular Show. You remember Regular Show? Ever heard of Regular Show? No. Okay. Well, it's like a white
anime is very limited.
Well, this is like these aren't even anime. They're literally like stateside cartoons. Which is the only difference in an anime and a cartoon is an anime is a cartoon produced in Japan. They're all just cartoons. Dude. Don't let anybody gatekeep you on these words, bro. Weaves are weird. And then Rick and Morty is like is another cartoon that comes on Cartoon Network, and we were going to talk about them all. And like, bro, these were turned into like 2.5 hour like podcasts. We just had a lot to say about each of these, and we were like, we need to trim this down. And someday or another, we were calling it something else. And then one day I was like, I just gotta like let my monkey mouth babble. You know what I'm saying? When I was doing earlier being crazy, like that's when the monkey mouth gets going. And I mentioned that to Mikey, and he was like, full stop, fuck this episode that we're recording. Like, we need to stop everything, and we need to, like, switch this brand up to Monkey Mouth. Like, that's exactly what we need to do. And I was like, all right, cool. And so then I had my, so that's the thing that got me into it, is trying to do it with a buddy, and then that falling through, and then someone else kind of spontaneously and synchronously hitting me at just the right time. Mm-hmm. And now it's Convo Companion, which is my Naruto podcast. There's Armchair Mixed Martial Arts, which I want to talk to you about. It's been almost an hour, so we might not get to
that's fine.
We might not get to the mixed martial arts stuff. God forbid we be teed up for our next podcast. But then I've got Shut Up You'll Listen, which is like Mikey's edition of this. Mm-hmm. Right? It's like effectively like Joe Rogan podcast with Mikey. You know, like how this was just like us bullshit about whatever. It's him, except he, like how I lean into like self-help and mental health and my philosophy and stuff. He leans into like what's happening now. He'd have talked about Queen Elizabeth dying. He'd have talked about whatever trendy thing is happening on whatever social media platform, like whatever he'd expect a like typical person who's plugged into the internet to be aware of it. Mm-hmm. And then we also have Friday, which is Mikey's solo podcast, which is basically his edition of the Convo Companion, except it's about Futurama. Mm-hmm. It's an episode review of Futurama. And we've got The Ones Who Woke Up, which is the one that we're on right now. And then we're working on some other stuff with some other guys who are going to come in and start probably working in here, who we've developed some relationships with, kind of like we were talking about earlier, similar situations. And so, yeah, there's a lot going on with Monkey Mouth. It's a lot of fun, man. The main thing is that I've done a lot of stuff for profit. You know what I'm saying? Like, my drone dispatch company, where we contract out commercial drone operations abroad through a network of drone pilots, that's like my for-profit play. Mm-hmm. Then Rat Extremities, my cannabis company, is like the good karma play. Like, bro, we help people with fibromyalgia and like people who like struggle with sleep and like all kinds of stuff. Like, it's nothing but good karma. Mm-hmm. And then this is my like personal fulfillment one. Mm-hmm. This is where like I get to go and say what I want to say, when I want to say it, how I want to say it, with the people that I want to say it with. Right? I get to spend time with interesting people. I get to, and it's like nothing but good, right? Like interesting conversations with people who I appreciate, putting good vibes out there into the world, hopefully making like some positive ripples, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's the ultimate goal, man. It's just like really enjoying myself to the fullest. Like, this space is so inexpensive, it's basically like dropping the bucket. Like, it's whatever. I can keep this afloat for forever, and it costs pretty much nothing to keep up and going. And so I just come up here and have like the best time that I can. I mean, we've got whiskey, we've got anything you want. Mm-hmm. And so I try to have a good time. And one thing that Mikey always likes for us to do on the way out of the podcast is, how do you feel about the studio, man?
I love it. I felt like it was inviting. I felt like you guys decorated it pretty cool, true to yourself. You got all the necessary equipment here, the refreshments. It was someplace that I could come and feel relaxed when I'm, doing the podcast.
Well, man, on that note, I really appreciate you coming in, and it's been a really awesome time. And maybe on the way out, give yourself one final shout out, like who you are, what you're doing, where they can find you, what people can do to support Coach O.
Absolutely. So, again, Coach Otis, Coach O, Fat Fitness, Texas. I'm in Georgetown, Texas, 1019 West University Avenue, Wolf Ranch Shopping Center. So, Fat Fitness is a variety of different things. Our main and niche service would be sports performance training, but we do traditional personal training, as we've done with Josh. We do group training. We do gym memberships and a full service of recovery, be it cryotherapy, chiropractic, physical therapy, myofascial release, compression therapy. I could go on and on. You have to come check us out. We also have a variety of modalities: a basketball court, turf field, batting cage.
It's an incredible facility.
Yeah, a unique concept. So if you're hearing this and you got any interest in fitness or athletics or improving yourself and getting better in that realm, please come see us.
And dude, I can speak from personal experience. Whether you're like someone who's just starting their fitness journey, like no matter how out of shape you are, like it's going to be a caring, open environment. There's no judgments. They're going to support you along your journey. And like I said, it doesn't matter if you're someone who's 400 pounds trying to get off the couch for the first time and get going, or whether you're someone who's trying to go get a D1 scholarship, or anywhere in between that spectrum, these guys are going to find a way to take care of you. And I can say that from personal experience. And so, Coach O, dude, it's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming out. Guys, that's another edition of The Ones Who Woke Up. You guys are kings. Peace, guys.
Monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth, monkey mouth.